Welcome to the King's Court. I am your host, King Roberto. Glad you could join us tonight. Episode 2, Season 2. And the title tonight of this episode is Holding the Line. Now, why holding the line? Well, if you might remember from episode 1, we had plans this week to have visited Joshua Tree. And I had all these plans, right? You know, they say the best way to make God laugh is to tell him your plans, right? And this is a perfect example of God saying, no, your plans aren't the right plans. My plans are the right plans for you. And that was completely exercised this past week as we made our plans to go camping down at Joshua Tree. I mean, the week started off great. And I'm not talking about just good. I'm saying the week started off great. Went to the doctor's appointment for the checkup, 6-month checkup after surgery on the knee. And you know what happened? Doctor said, King Roberto, that knee looks great. You are doing fantastic. You're ahead of schedule. When they did the surgery, the surgery came with the caveat that the recovery time would be 12 months. We're at 6 months now, and the 6 months in the stipulations at the 6-month surgery, and the visit was like 30 seconds long. Came in, sat down, go to pull up my pant leg so he can see the scar. He's like, no, we don't need to see that this time. What I want you to do is put your leg up and don't let me push it down. So, of course, that's exactly what I did. He went to push it down, couldn't push it down. Why couldn't he push it down? Because strong as iron, right? Strong as iron right here. Can't push it down. It's like, oh my God. I just never seen anybody like this. These are not his words. I'm making this up 100%, but that's what he pretty much said. So he said, okay, you're clear to do just about anything, but you can't jump for the slam dunk. I said, well, you see what color I am, right? That ain't gonna happen anyways. And you can't go skiing. Specifically said skiing, and it blew my mind because I didn't even tell him what was going on with the plan to do the ski trip, the spring ski trip this year, because that is one of the goals after surgery. It was like, well, I've lost the winter. I mean, thankfully, winter has been pretty mellow this year. We don't have a lot of snow sitting up on the mountains. It's like less than 50% snowpack. So we're doing all right there. I'm not missing a whole lot. I don't feel like I'm missing out on these great POW days. Not missing any awesome snowmobile rides. Although I heard that the trip between Christmas and New Year's, when they got all that snow, was pretty good. They did have a couple of guys got killed, unfortunately, over near Castle Peak. Seasoned riders, but triggered an avalanche. Even had all of their Avi gear, the backpack and everything, and the beacons, and they didn't survive. So that was kind of scary. But yeah, the goal was, okay, let's get a spring ski day, just a groomer day, just carving some turns, get back on the snow, and that's the goal. And for him to say can't ski, I was like, dang it. I said, well, I'm really hoping for a spring ski day. What do you think? He said, well, come about 9 months, April or so, probably be pretty good. So we're going to see what the weather does between now and April. So that started off the week. And then it kind of all went downhill from there. I got to tell you, it was just like started spiraling, and it's like, holy crap, I don't know what's going on here. Because Tuesday came around, and the queen, Nikki, said, I hurt my knee, and she said, and I was like, oh, all right. She's like, not like you hurt your knee, but I hurt my knee, and I didn't hurt my knee, I hurt my quad. In fact, it tore the entire tendon off the knee. So I didn't hurt my knee, except if you count the dislocating the knee. I mean, that did hurt. But her knee, we're not comparing how bad she hurt her knee to how bad I hurt my knee. But her knee was hurting. So I was like, all right, that's cool. But I mean, we had this great plan. We got the trailer, got a new spare tire for the trailer, which been on the to-do list for a while, and we said, okay, we're gonna bring the bicycles down to Joshua Tree, and we'll ride the bikes down, and we'll go into the national park. We'll ride the bikes, and it'll be a blast. And hurt my knee. Okay, that's fine, whatever. So Tuesday rolls around, and it's like, all right, the stars are not exactly lining up with what we want to do here. So fine, whatever. Wednesday comes and work gets busy because the superintendent that's on the job that we are trying to close out went on vacation to Hawaii, and I get it. I mean, I've been there. When that vacation is calling your name, you're like, hey, it's time to go. I gotta go. I'm done. I'm ready to go on vacation, and I'm out of here. And that check out. And even though I told him, don't check out on me yet. You're not on vacation yet. It's the end of the job here. You got to finish strong. He was gone before he was gone. So here I am, Mr. Flexible, Mr. Adaptable here, down on the job site now Wednesday morning, trying to figure out what the heck is not done and what needs to be done from a guy who doesn't keep very good notes about anything, but does a good job running the job. Just doesn't do well when it comes to handing off and going on vacation. And half of me is tempted to say, well, don't go on vacation then. Don't go on vacation. You can't keep good notes of what's going on. Don't go on vacation. That's just the way it works. Nope, gone. On the plane, down to Hawaii. Who's left to, hold all the stuff together? Yeah, yours truly, King Roberto. And who's up to the task? Yours truly, King Roberto, right? Because that's what kings do. So that's Wednesday. And it just keeps going downhill from that. Thursday rolls around. Wednesday afternoon rolls around. Not Thursday. We're not to Thursday yet. But Wednesday afternoon rolls around, and I get home from work, and I'm telling Nikki, this is not shaping up to be a good time to go to Joshua Tree. And she's like, well, that's going to be a lot of fun. And, people ask you, why are you going to Joshua Tree? What's in Joshua Tree? I said, there's a bunch of trees, and they're named Joshua. Where do you think I'm going to the Joshua Tree? It's a cool place to go. You get to see trees named Joshua. That's not a very good reason. So we made the decision together to cancel our trip. Okay, not going to Joshua Tree. Well, that is received as kind of a blessing and a curse, because all that did was took the pressure off of getting ready for Joshua Tree, which meant don't have to install the spare tire on the trailer right now. Don't have to put the bike rack on the trailer. Don't have to check the tires and the air pressure in the bike tires. Don't have to get everything ready. Don't have to do a shopping list to bring food. Don't have to worry about, packing up and going camping on Thursday night. 8-hour drive Friday, 8-hour drive home Monday, missing 2 days of work while trying out to close out this job in the aquatic center that we're working on. Her knee's hurting. So it just all added up to like, don't go camping this weekend. And, sometimes you got to listen to that little voice inside your head that says, don't go to Joshua Tree camping this weekend. And so that's what we did. Now, there's no, it wasn't necessarily dramatic, but that's just the reality of it. And life, tends to reroute you occasionally. The plans that you want to do, plans are optional, but the responsibility isn't. And the responsibility that was left behind when the trip to Joshua Tree got canceled, it wasn't like everything stopped. It wasn't like we were going to go camping and have this nice, fun, relaxing weekend, but now we're not. So we're going to stay home and we're going to have a nice, fun, relaxing weekend at home. No, that's not how it works, right? That's not how it works. I got a list of things to do while I'm at home. I'm working on the fence for the horses. I got to go get the duck decoys from the duck blind. I got to clean up around the barn because we're getting ready to build the stalls. We're out, and this list of everything that needs to keep going on that would not have got done if we were going camping at Joshua Tree, which would have been fine because camping at Joshua Tree would have been a planned, fun event for the two of us, and we love doing that stuff together. The camp trips that Nikki and I take are something that we have really grown to love and enjoy doing together. And we usually take Rooster with us because he's my guy, right? And I will say there's been several slip-ups lately of calling Rooster Goose. And we miss Goose, but Goose is gone, and we got Rooster. But there's been a few occasions where it's been a slip-up, and we're talking about Rooster and call him Goose, and it's like, well, yeah, Goose is still there on our minds now and then, and in our thoughts, and we miss that dog. But anyways, Thursday, Friday roll around, and we get through the week. And Friday night came. Friday night comes, and it's like, whew, what a week. What a cluster. And you know, it's on my Friday nights usually are on the back porch. Got a fire going. Did not get a fire going this time, but got the heater fired up because it's cold out. It's cold out right now. It's 39 degrees outside in the evenings. So have a cigar. Did a glass of what I do? I think I did a rum and Coke this week. So had a glass, unwind a little bit, and I get out there and it's 7:30. 7:30. I'm getting the cigar out of the humidor, which I will say that humidor that my daughter got me for the birthday or for the Christmas. I like that humidor a lot. That thing is bad to the bone. It's got this little app on my phone that tells you when the humidity is too low in it. It tells me when the temperature is too low. And I never get anything too high on that damn thing. I got to tell you, there's never been an alert that says, hey, there's too much humidity or it's too hot in this place. I mean, with the king, you think everything's too hot all the time, right? Because I'm the king. Everything I touch, on fire all the time. Nope, not the humidor. It always sends me an alert. You need to add more solution. The humidity is too low. It's too cold. Put the humidor in the sun. This damn thing talks to me all day. But anyways, it's 7:30 on Friday night, and I'm like, all right, got my cigar, got my drink. I'm going to go out back. She said, finally, I can go to bed. It's 7:30 at night. I'm like, what, really? She's like, my knee is killing me. I'm really glad we canceled our trip because if we didn't, I was going to because my knee hurt so bad. And this had been earlier in the day. Her daughter came up and drove her to an appointment because she's got this thing going on with her doctors right now. And doctors who are listening, we love you. But sometimes the hospitals or the places that you work are not very user-friendly. She can't get her doctor, her primary at the one hospital to call her back, and she doesn't have a primary at the other insurance coverage because she got dual insurance. This woman has two insurances covering her. Can't get a doctor appointment anywhere. Canceled the one on Thursday that she had for her niece. Had to go in Friday morning to get a doctor's appointment. And her daughter comes up, drives her to the doctor, and the doctor says, "What's wrong?" And she said, "My knee hurts." So this is Friday morning. This is before 7:30 at night. She's going to bed. But what led to going to bed at 7:30 at night? My knee hurts. Why does your knee hurt? And she's like, well, I don't know why my knee hurts. You tell me. Do an X-rays or something. So she's got bone spurs underneath her kneecap. And they got some tendon, PT tendon or LT tendon in the knee that might be the problem, but nobody really knows what's going on with her knee other than it hurts. She's got every kind of knee brace imaginable right now going through this house. She got my ice pack that I had on my knee when I was after surgery, providing her some comfort on her knee, trying to get the swelling down. She got my knee brace, my little knee brace. She hasn't opted for the big knee brace. I tried to get her to get on the crutches. She's like, no, I'm not getting on the crutches. I will crawl up and down the stairs. I'm not getting the crutches. You're not getting me on the crutches. All right, well, that's what I did when I hurt my knee. I got the crutches. But she got knee braces, got hobbling around the house, and then today in the mail, after all of this, and she's in bed at 7:30 on Friday night. 7:30 Friday night, I told her Friday nights around here we go hard, man. 7:30 we're in bed. 7:30 Friday night we're in bed. I'm not in bed. She's in bed. I'm on the back porch having a cigar, drinking a glass of rum and Coke, whatever it was. And she's in bed. So we go hard. But then after that, we get the mail today. And in the mail, this is just the coup de grace, man. The icing on the cake, the top of the mountain. In the mail today, addressed to Miss Nikki, is an AARP card. An AARP membership. And this is just, I mean, you talk about exactly the shoe fitting, right? You got, my knee hurts. 7:30 going to bed. I can't hardly walk. Give me my walker and send me an AARP card. This is just this is the woman that I am head over heels in love with, and who I cannot spend enough time with. And I'm thinking to myself, hell yes, Denny's early bird dinner. Here we come. We are getting that baby right now. So, but yeah, this is just it was a weekend, man. So 7:30 night, Friday night, we're going hard, and she's asleep. I'm on the back porch, have my cigar, and it was a good cigar. I've got some good cigars going through the rotation right now. A couple of them that I like. That I found. The Placencias ones are still my favorite. And they hit hard, though. They hit hard if you're a cigar aficionado or you want to try some, be happy to talk to anybody who wants to chat cigars and maybe some whiskey or whatever. But I've been getting some emails from the Humidor company about different cigar types. And they've got flavored ones, which we got a couple that we might want to try to work into the rotation, because every once in a while I can get Nikki to smoke one with me. But, when you're only having one cigar a week, you've got one opportunity to have a cigar with your wife, and it's usually a Friday night, and then sometimes it happens or not. So anyway, Saturday morning, we head out to the duck club, and I got my dad and my son with me. And we're going to pick up decoys. And my brother had plans already, but, we're leaving the goose decoys out for him because he wants to do this goose hunt in a couple weeks. So we drive out, and my dad, God bless him, he drives out there, and we got the quad and our Ranger, and my Ranger and his quad. We get out to the field, and we're hunting over rice, so it's a flooded rice field. And the water is maybe a foot deep, and he drives that quad right out there to the decoys, and we get to there, because I stopped with Tanner, my son, in the quad here, her and the Ranger there. I stopped and said, I don't know. This has never turned out good when I've tried to drive the Ranger into the rice field to get the decoys. It doesn't. It's a 570 EFI. 2014 version is 10 years old. It's got a lot of hours on it. This is a bad idea. My gut said this is a bad idea. So we get there, and Dad's like, I'm driving out there. And it's like, okay, well, great. He's like, you need to go too. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. And he's like, come on, it'll be fine. It's like, so I got talked into that by the old man. And sure enough, we get out there, and this is, after the week we had, after the hurt knee, after canceling camping to stay home, and because everything's spiraling out, we drive the Ranger out, and we're 20 yards into the water, and it stops, and it's no power. It's no longer going. The transmission is not turning. So I'm like, okay, maybe I don't have it in 4-wheel drive. Got it in 4-wheel drive. It's not moving. and it's just slipping. The clutch is slipping. And I look behind me, and there's smoke coming out of the rear end of the Ranger. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I did not use those words. There were some extra words that added into it. But it's like, you have got to be kidding me. And I'm out there on the water. I wave him over, say, come on, you got to tow me out. This is your idea. I'm mad because you talked me into it, number one. I'm mad because I'm mad at myself that I let you talk me into it, but I'm mad at you for talking me into it. Come on, Dad, get me out of here. So he pulls me up, and we go, and we get all the decoys up. And I like my decoys organized. I like them organized. I don't want to put all my decoys mixed willy-nilly with my brother's decoys and in different bags, okay? So we got widgeon, we got pintail, we got teal, we got mallards, we got canvasback, and we got spoonie decoys. The spoonies go in the bag with the spoonies. Canvasback, go with the canvasback. Teal, go with the teal. Widgeon, go with the widgeon. And the pintail, go with the pintail. Now, my decoys are the widgeon, the pintail, and the teal. Brother's decoys are the mallards, the canvasback, and the spoonies. So if you want to mix them, I'm okay with that. Widgeon and pintail, and here's my rationale behind all of it. If you look at the ducks that are flying, widgeon and pintail, when they're on the water, get on the water together. Mallards kind of do their own thing. They think they're badass. Canvasbacks are just, they're the kings, right? They are the king duck. They are the king of the ducks. They're not the king duck, because I'm not sure if anybody's the king duck other than, maybe President Trump or Donald Duck. You take your pick. But one of them. And then you got the teal, who are the babies. But they're fast. So my rationale is, if you want to mix pintail and the widgeon, that's cool. Throw the teal in there because that's mine too, but put them in the side of the bag when they're in their own little corner. And then the mallards go with the mallards. Spoonies go with spoonies. And they get their own bag. And if you've hunted spoonies, you know why. Spoonies go with spoonies, and they get their own bag. And that's it. That's the only one saying. You can't cross-pollinate with spoonies because it's just bad. And the canvasbacks are there. And we leave the geese. The goose decoys stayed out, and my brother's going to do the hunt in a couple weeks, and he can pick those up when they get there. So that's Saturday morning. All loaded up. Come on back. Get everything unloaded. We push the Ranger onto the trailer with the quad. Load it up because the Ranger's not moving. The Ranger's not moving. Sure as I'm sitting here right now doing this podcast, and I got two people who saw it. Ranger didn't move. Get home. Unload the Ranger. We let it roll down behind the quad. They're strapped together for the trip home, and I get them in the barn, and I can't really move very well, so I unhook them, move them around, and then I, just for the heck of it, get on the Ranger and throw it into gear, and I hit the gas, and it starts going, starts rolling. The transmission engages. I'm like, what the heck? Sure enough, drive it around. Does a lap around the tree in the front of the barn, and the Ranger's moving again. So I don't know what this is. My best guess is that water got in with the clutch, and it's a belt drive. So it's like their snowmobiles. It's like the Polaris snowmobiles, where it's got the belt that drives everything, and the water got in there and it made everything wet, and it started slipping because there was a bolt missing on the belt cover. And I noticed it when it was getting loaded up. I said, well, that bolt's missing. I wonder if that has something to do with it. And then I think the water got in where the belt is and made it steam. And so it made it look like it was smoking and blowing up. But it wasn't. So the Ranger's running again. I'm ordering a new belt, though, because I don't want to go through that crap again. So the Ranger's running. We get home. And then last week, while I'm doing all this stuff down on the job, Hugo, the horse, who is Mr. Personality, Mr. Mischief, managed to get his halter off during the week. And if you've heard the stories or you've seen the Instagram posts, Hugo without a halter is my worst nightmare. My worst nightmare. The horse having a halter put on. He does everything he can think of to stay away from the halter being put on. But I know I got to get this halter on because I haven't walked the horse in 4 days. We're off our routine. So we go in and get the Ranger going, unloaded, get it running, drive back up to the top pasture where the horses are, and I'm going to put the halter in. So I walk in the field, and I've got these horses. They're coming along. But when I walk in the field now, they walk up to me because they think I got a treat. I don't always have a treat. But when I do have a treat, they get a treat because they walk up to me, they let me pet them, and they get a little treat. Once in a while. It's not all the time. It's once in a while. But he comes up to me, and so it takes about 10 minutes, but we get the halter on Hugo, which is no minor miracle in and of itself. So not only do we get the halter on Hugo, but we get him on the lead rope and we go for a walk, and he gets a couple of treats on his walk while you're going around. Stewart, I don't worry about. Stewart, I can catch and halter him. Well, Hugo is Mr. Personality that needs some work and attention. So, and we do that Saturday, and that's just Saturday. It gets better. It gets better. You're not going to believe this. So Saturday night, we're in bed by 9 o'clock because we go hard around here. I'm telling you, the big 5-0, you're going hard. You're in bed by, 7:30 on Friday night, 9 o'clock on Saturday night. And this weekend, we didn't really care because her knee was hurting and I was getting tired. Sunday rolls around, get up early, go to church. I like going to, I am still a 7:30 mass on Sunday guy. And I heard something on the radio that said the 7:30 is where the younger people go in the morning. And then the older folks usually doing the evening mass. And I got some friends who do the gas, groceries, and God. God, gas, and groceries is their Sunday night. God, gas, and groceries. They get gas, they go to church, and they go grocery shopping. But that's their Sunday night. They're a couple years ahead of me in age. But I'm still a 7:30. I'm an early riser on a Sunday morning. So go get church done and go down to Home Depot and get 30 bags of concrete. And I go to Home Depot and this guy's like, hey, I don't, first off, I get 30 bags of concrete, go in, cashier. We go to dinner afterwards at Olive Garden. Go in, the cashier, though, is 30 bags of concrete. Okay. Calls the guy and says, ask me, would you like help loading that? I'm like, yeah, of course. So pull up underneath the thing, and I get under the thing, and the people are there like, hey, you can't park there. I'm like, I got 30 bags of concrete. That's right over there. We got to load up. And they said, well, they got to load this toolbox in this other car who's not here right now, so you need to move for it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Forklift driver gets the concrete, comes over, and the guy who's helping load it says, well, we can actually sell you the pallet, and you can put the pallet in the back of the truck. You pay for the pallet, put it in the back of the truck, you take all the concrete home, we just load it up with the forklift, bring the pallet back, and we'll give you. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't want to buy a pallet. I don't want to have to bring it back. I don't want to have to make all these different trips. Load the concrete. We'll do it by hand. You throw it up there, and I'll stack it in the back of the truck. He says, well, they only told me it was 16 bags. I said, no, it's 30 bags. He said, well, they only told me it was 16 bags. I said, it's 30 bags. I got the receipt. Would you like to see it? He says, yes, I would, actually. So I get the receipt, and I show it to him. He says, you actually paid for 30 bags? It says 30 bags on the receipt. And I say, dude, this is why you're working at Home Depot, right? This is why you're working at Home Depot. You're asking me, did I pay for 30 bags of concrete? The receipt says I paid for 30 bags of concrete. I need 30 bags of concrete. It's like, okay, well, we're getting you 30 bags of concrete. I said, yes, sir, you are. So we load these 30 bags in the back of the truck. And it's not that bad. I mean, but I was not going to put 30 bags on the cart and push them around inside Home Depot. So this guy, thank you, sir, for your help. It took all of about 5 minutes to load 30 bags. You throw them up on the tailgate. I'll stack them in the back of the truck. Go get that done. Go to dinner. Come home. In bed by 9 o'clock. Sunday morning was well. Time to work on the fence, right? Because just because we're not going to Joshua Tree and having a fun weekend doesn't mean that there's not stuff to do. The responsibility is still there. So we get home, clean up the house a little bit, get the cardboard out, because I burn the cardboard. I don't believe in throwing that crap away. We're going to burn it, and that's just the way it is. And that's go get that all done, get the house kind of cleaned up, and go outside and start working on the fence. I got to drill the holes for the fence posts. The first hole I drill, it nicks the leach line coming out of the septic tank. The first hole. I didn't realize it until I was cleaning the hole with the post hole diggers. And that was after the third hole center punched the pump line coming from the pump, the septic pump down at the barn, pumping up to the leach line, up to the main septic tank that is not even active right now. But I managed to hit dead nut center on the 2-inch line from the pump tank to the septic tank. So in 3 holes on Sunday morning, after the week we had, after hurting our knee, after canceling Joshua Tree, after going to bed on Friday night at 7:30, having a cigar and a drink Friday night, Saturday night going out, getting the horse on the halter, breaking down on the Ranger, loading up 30 bags of concrete. Sunday morning, drilled the auger through the main leach line to the leach field coming out of the septic tank. And in 2 holes later, which is 2 out of 3 holes that were drilled in the morning, break the septic line from the pump tank to the septic tank. That was my weekend. Spent the rest of the morning Sunday repairing the leach line, repairing the pump tank line, which I got to say, I'm not a plumber. I don't want to be a plumber. I know some plumbers. Some are good, some are not. And that's all we're going to say about plumbers. Some are good, some are not. I don't want to be one, though. And my leach line was a masterpiece of repair because I nicked the pipe. So you got to cut out a portion of the pipe, but not the whole pipe. You don't break the whole pipe. You don't cut the whole pipe. You just cut out the portion that is dinged up, and you repair it. And I'm cutting through it with the Sawzall, and Nikki's watching me, and I'm cussing at it because the saw jumps and it cracks the pipe, and so I got to cut a little more out. And pretty soon, 3/4 of the pipe is gone when it started with a quarter of a pipe that was damaged. So work through it, and I get the couplers over it because you cut the couplers and you don't put a full coupler on it. You splice it. Oh, good Lord. And then it all gets encased in concrete because it's still in the fence post. And I'm not, at this point, I am not moving the fence post. To hell with the septic line, the leach line. We're encasing that mother in concrete. We're going to make sure that any fluid that comes through is just going to have a concrete ring around it, and it'll be like a concrete pipe that just passes right on through, goes on to the leach field. Same thing with the pump line. Got the coupler, got the splice for the 2-inch line, made it all together, and I'm rednecking this thing. I got ABS pipe glued with PVC glue into a PVC pipe with a PVC pipe coupler, and I was just like, I was done. I don't really care. I don't care. This one's getting encased in concrete too because we're not moving the fence posts. We're not moving the fence posts. Get them all put back together. Get the posts sent. Drill a bunch, 7 or 8 more posts. And by the time that's done, it's Sunday night, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and we're done. Go get in the hot tub because we're not getting it in the hot tub at 8 o'clock at night because it's freezing cold at night. So we're getting in at like 5:30 because we go hard around here. We go hard around here. When you're over 50 and you're living with the king and the queen, you go hard. So a weekend that was going to be an escape, a quiet weekend, definitely did not turn out to be that way. So anyways, yeah, that was the last week, and then this show was going to be co-hosted, but my co-host, the knee was not feeling up for it. So we got a little adjustment that was made here, and that's being flexible. And like I said at the start, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. In this, yeah, that was the weekend. So, but I mean, it does show you a few things when you get down to thinking about it. The control that you think you have over everything is temporary. You can be in control of any situation for a short period of time and think that your life is under control, but that can change in an instant. The plans we make are fragile. A bum knee, a hurt knee, a crazy week of work, too many people being gone, too much going on, and everything just lining up. And sometimes you got to learn to listen to your gut there. The responsibility is always going to be there. You've always got your job to do, whether it's at work, whether it's at home with your family, with your wife, your kids, whatever it is. That duty is always there. It's constant. But that consistency is what, showing up every time is what builds that trust in the people that know you and love you, and they know that they can count on you. So that's all part of being a king, right? That's just part of being the king. That's a week in the life of King Roberto, and this week was nuts. Looking forward, though, I mean, things will settle back down, and we'll get a little bit more back to normal and back on a path that we're good being on. Not that I had any problems necessarily with the path that we were on this weekend. It was just crazy. One thing after another. So, but yeah, let's get into. We're running a little longer on this show, so if you're not used to me talking that much, then I do apologize. But there's a story for everything, right? There's always a story, and that's I like sharing them with everybody who's listening to this thing. All three of you who listen to this thing. I'm listening to different podcasts, and one was we have it was a horse one, and they were interviewing Corey Cushing on it. But and one of the guys said, we have 20 listeners, and you might have just offended 2 of them. And he said, I'm sure I didn't offend any of them. There's only 20 of them listening, and I know all 20 of them. I can relate to that. So I'm pretty sure nobody got offended tonight. But royal decree. Here you go. A king isn't measured by the plans he makes, but the responsibilities he still carries when those plans fall apart. And that's true about everybody. Whether they realize it or not is a different conversation for a different day. But the person, in this case the king, is not measured by the plans that they make, but by the responsibilities they still carry when those plans fall apart. The plans fall apart, what are you going to do? What do? You just say, well, I was going to have a relaxing weekend anyway, so I'm going to still have a relaxing weekend. We're going to sit around the house and do nothing. Is that what you're going to do? Or are you going to look around and look at that honey-do list or the to-do list or the task list, whatever you're working from, and say, well, the plans changed, so we're going to get after it. Where are you going to go? And you know where the king's going. The plans change, so we're going to get after it. Just because the plans change doesn't mean we're not going to stop. We're going to be still. If I was going to be still, I would have gone to Joshua Tree. That would have been still because the queen had a bum knee, and the king would have just been riding the bike in the Joshua Tree. The queen would have sat in the trailer crocheting, and I would have sat with her for a time. Anybody who knows me knows that sitting still is not a strength of mine, but we would have had some stillness time together. When those plans changed, the stillness changed from being at Joshua Tree to getting after it back at home. Anyways, I did hear that Lewis was excited to hear his name on the podcast. So I'm excited for the show with Lewis when it comes up, and you'll know it's happening when it happens. We're not gonna preempt that one by telling you where or when it's gonna happen, but we will get him on here. We'll get a couple guests on this season, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I appreciate you tuning in, listening to me tell you my story about the weekend, and hopefully that royal decree hits with you. And if you needed to hear it, I hope it sits and it hits you. And if you didn't need to hear it and it affirms what you've been doing, keep on doing it, because that's what builds that character. It makes you that trustworthy person that people know when the chips are down, who are they going to call? Who are they going to count on? It's going to be the King and you. We will see you at episode 3 next week. Don't miss the drop. Send me a message. Hit me on Instagram, X, Twitter, or the good old email. Anything that you want to do, anything you want to hear, anything you want to talk about, King Roberto's you guys. So I will catch you on the next one. See you later.